Yo, we're live. Welcome to the Diren Kartal.
What are we talking about today? Welcome to the Diren Kartal podcast. Today we have a very special guest.
Bruv, go intro yourself. I know you're dying to intro yourself.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 67 of the Diren Kartal podcast, the best fitness influencer in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you're not signed up to Neat Up 24/7, this is your reminder to do so currently. There are no other fitness plans and online coaches available anywhere in the world. Neat Up 24/7 is the vibe. Fresh out of Dublin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Diren Kartal. Hey!
Thank you very much. What an intro to my own podcast. Is it episode 67? I don't even know.
It is. Your last one was with Spencer Matthews, apparently.
My guy.
And you lot were rolling around with each other and stuff, innit?
And jits, yeah, we did a bit of jits together. It was here actually.
Jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
When are you coming and when am I going to beat up your brother?
My brother doesn't even live in this country anymore, so that's a bit hard. To be fair, the other day I was with Mario Saeed. He's a Kurdish MMA fighter, and I
saw him on your story.
Yeah, he's been like a jiu-jitsu champion and stuff as well. He's got like jiu-jitsu gyms in Bristol, Gloucester, and whatever. Like he said he knows someone called something Estima or something like that as well.
Braulio Estima.
Yeah, it might be, or it might his brother or something. I don't know. Does he have a brother?
Yeah, yes.
I think he knows his brother or whatever. And
would.
Yeah.
So they're the dons of jiu-jitsu, bro.
Yeah, so I think like he's trained with him and all that sort of stuff. So
he's a G.
Yeah,
he's a G, bro.
Yeah. So he was telling, he was just talking about the difference between prices of jiu-jitsu gyms in London. He's all like, if you go to like Roger Gracie, you're getting charged X amount, but if you go to my gyms, like which are like similar level, but because it's outside of London, you're getting charged X amount.
But also Roger Gracie is the Ronaldo of jiu-jitsu, bruv.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, that's the thing. So that's what he was discussing with me, and I was just like, oh my God. But yeah, like, do you know what the thing is though, yeah? With jiu-jitsu, I'm just worried that like where I'm really stubborn, and a man's just going to be like, tap. No, bro, he ain't tapping. And then I end up with like nerve damage in my leg and can't walk again.
No, you'll tap, bro. You will tap. No, you will tap. You'll feel it. You'll be like, you'll be tapping because it's but it's like nothing else, and it's mad because it slowly just takes that ego away, and then you start, because there's nothing more kind of beautiful than getting a brother to submit to you, bruv.
No, see, I don't care about all that power and stuff. Like, you see, you lot
so then you'll tap, bro.
You lot have got some issues that you need to sort out.
No, bro, what do you mean? If you don't tap, it means you have the issues.
No, but this whole thing of like, when you're getting a guy to submit to you, that is some weird power dynamic that you guys
Brother, there is nothing more powerful when a guy, you give the guy eye contact, you go, my friend, it's time.
Have you heard what they say that everything, everything is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power.
Rotted.
So there's some real homoerotic stuff going on there, man. Which is, do you know what I mean? If you're into it,
there's homoerotic stuff everywhere, buff.
100%.
Have you ever spoken to guys?
That was the whole point of the quote. Yeah.
Have you ever spoke to guys that play rugby, bro?
Oh, but rugby guys are a different breed. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we just did a human centipede as like a bonding exercise.
Well, them man drink piss and shit.
Yeah. It's just, and shit, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's mad. They turn around and say things like, I suck one dick, and they call me gay, bruv. That's the sort of shit I'm like, but you know what? It's funny because...
I mean, it's the context of it, though.
Yeah, but it's...
What was he doing it for? Was he doing it for the survival of his family? Was he doing it for... You know when people ask you those hypotheticals, like where they're like, oh yeah, would you suck a dick for $1 billion? And you're like, no, bro.
No, bro.
But it's just like, when you actually like deep it, like, do you know how much $1 billion is, right? So you're probably going to think about it. Even if you don't do it, you'll probably think about it.
And then get that brother.
Would you do it?
Then
would you do it?
Nah, bruv. And then, would you do it?
Nah, I don't think so.
And then get that brother assassinated, innit? With that money, bro.
Well, this is it. You're already thinking about it. You said no, but now you're thinking about like the stuff you could do with it. Do you know how much $1 billion is?
It's a lot.
Bro.
Yeah, but then you have to tell people, oh, so how did you become a billionaire, sir? And then you have to be like, so basically, man had to suck one dick, innit?
No, you wouldn't say that. You'd be like, look, man, like, there's a lot of sacrifices in making money. There's a lot of sacrifices. Sometimes there's compromise involved. Like, do you know what I mean? You come against a lot of hard obstacles in your life, and sometimes you've just got to, you just got to suck it up and...
Sometimes it's just in your face, bro.
Yeah, sometimes it's octave, it's just in your face, and you really just got to suck it up and hope, like, you just got to swallow it and just got to swallow it and get on with it. And then you're being quite, like, you're being truthful as well as,
real.
Yeah.
What a way to start the podcast, bruv.
Yeah, we just spoke about like loads of shit already. I feel like this was a bit of a like last minute booking. You were like, "Raw, I've got."
No. This was like because I like doing like I get guests and stuff on, and it's been a mad couple weeks for me, and I feel like finally I can kind of.
How was it for you?
What the tour, the events?
Yeah.
It was
because you did your first show in. Right, look at me being the interview. So, Diren, tell us. Obviously, you sold out the Clapham Grand, and you were in Manchester. Amazing. 400 people was it in Manchester, or was it 500? 600 people in Manchester. Well, let's just give it incredible scenes, ladies and gentlemen. How was that?
Well, quite frankly, it was quite shocking. I don't even remember it happening, if I'm being honest.
Were you so? All right, like, because obviously I'm a stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah.
And when I see like you and James and these lot doing shows, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing on stage? Like,
yeah, I know.
Like, what do you lot do on stage? So, what happens?
So initially with my one, it's like an intro one. It's my first ever shows, right? So I'm pretty much kind of talking about myself and telling stories, as well as adding some educational bits, but make it interactive, like pretty much how I do with my content online. But it was one of those things where there's been such a build up in the last few years of my one happening.
Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of get that first one out of the way.
Okay.
Just to like, because I was comfortable speaking in front of people, but then I was like, I feel like I've got a whole nother level of confidence now.
Okay.
And now I want that time to kind of chill and see where my mind goes with.
But is it predominantly
creative.
like people that come to learn about your journey into getting where you are now? Is it sort of like autobiographical?
A little bit as well. Do you know what? If I'm being honest, I think people just want to come like meet us, and then when they come meet us, for some weird reason, I ended up being called a comedian that first night in Manchester, and I was like, "Rah, bruv, this is mad." I don't even think.
There's obviously a lot of people that haven't been in comedy shows. I'm joking.
But like you said this before, I think people don't expect me or Smith to be funny. So
when they come, and even if you bust a joke, they're like, "Oh my god, he's hilarious."
Yeah, they don't expect it.
Yeah.
So then I think with that energy that you see in the crowd, and again, you said this to me before, it's contagious, and it kind of just gets around, and that gives you that confidence. And when you get that confidence, it just takes you to another whole fucking level. Do you know what I mean? It's weird, and it's weird because like I think like my humor or the way I'm funny is from my background, and I think I get along with you so well, and I love your humor is because it's that cultural humor.
Yeah, and also like inner city London. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Use
words like bear and fam, allow it. All of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and they love that outside of London, innit? They love that outside of London.
Do you know what? Like, I try and use less slang because sometimes I just want to be
taken seriously.
No, not taken seriously. In videos, I say bruv a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you know when you subtitle your own? Do you subtitle your own videos? Oh no, you're too famous for that. But I subtitle my own videos. It's mad. Do you know, I just clocked who I was speaking to. I was like, all right, AMG's parked outside. I was like, this brother don't subtitle his own videos. Who the fuck are you talking to?
I used to. I've got a videographer now.
Yeah. So like when you're there and you're like, right, how many times did I just say bruv? I said like bruv like 13 times in a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
So you learn little things like that, and then you're like, oh, I don't think I'll ever cut out the word bruv. But there's other things like
I wouldn't either. But you know, when I said taken seriously, the only reason I said that is I think certain audiences pay attention more, and if we're smart with the way we talk, they pay attention.
If you want to be
more.
on Radio 4, and
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But I think nowadays with the internet, you can basically do whatever you like. I mean, look at you guys. You guys are talking about squats and shit for an hour on stage. This is the perfect way to do rear delts. No, I'm joking. It's just
no, but that's how it started. And like, say with mine now, I'm kind of like forming into whatever it is that I'm forming into, which I don't fucking know. I'm just kind of kicking with the wind and doing what I do every single fucking day.
You're just telling your listeners, like,
you know,
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, okay? You guys are going to turn up, you're going to see me. But I got no clue.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Got no clue what the fuck it is. It's just a projector. We're gonna look at some family photos. It's gonna be fun.
Hey, I did put a family photo up as well. Hey, you should have seen my mum and dad in the London show. But my mum and dad got more fucking cheers than I did, bruv. It was mad, bruv. It was crazy.
That's hilarious. So obviously you haven't taken that route into like doing little small venues and then building up into like bigger venues and whatever. Yeah. So how did you almost like learn about getting on stage? And there's like things like time management on stage, things like interacting with it. You had to sort of just learn in a big venue, didn't you? That,
but it's also, you got to think about the years of live Facebook, live Insta, having free.
It's not the same, bruv.
I know it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but it gives you the confidence of, I've done this in front of this many people where I'm making shit up, as well as I've put a lot of reps in opening for Smith, talking about nothing, but opening 15, 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
So what do you do there? What, it just tells you to go on stage?
Bruv, I'll open and I'll talk about shit, and it ends up being quite funny, bruv. I don't know. I think it's almost, I don't want to say a stand-up because I feel like it's disrespectful to you, man, bruv.
Well, do you know what I think would be interesting for both of you? To do a stand-up set somewhere.
Bro, I like putting myself in uncomfortable positions, and I would do it, and I don't care if I get booed off stage because I know it won't affect me, bruv.
Do you know what? I think that'd be a funny video for me to do with you guys.
It could be funny.
Where we like, I coach both of you into doing a 5-minute set at a comedy club.
Yeah. I'll be up for that. It'll be banter.
Yeah.
I'll go up and just be like, oh, so I'm a personal trainer. Just fucking rock it, bruv, and see what the fuck happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're up for it, let's do that.
What's that thing that you said where they buzz you off or some shit?
So there's different shows. The concept behind them is called a Gong Show. So, like the Comedy Store has one where, like you have to last 5 minutes, and then
you have to.
Yeah, that's the aim of the game. If you last 5 minutes, you go through to the final kind of thing.
That'll be a change.
And bumper, and then they hit a gong essentially when you've made it. You're like, yeah, you've hit it 5 minutes. And there's 3 members of the crowd each have a card.
Mm-hmm.
And if they think you're shit, they raise the card and then be like 1 card, 2 card, 3 cards. You're like off the stage. But there's one at Up the Creek Comedy in Greenwich, which gives you a 2-minute grace period, because at the Comedy Store, some people are ruthless. Like, you just come on and they don't like the look of you, and it's just like fucking hell. Like, I've just driven from like Ipswich to get here like 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's one at Up the Creek in Greenwich, which gives you a 2-minute grace period, and once you've done that, after that 2 minutes, the lights come up again. So they dim the lights and they bring it up again to signify to the audience that you've lasted 2 minutes, and then after that, they can gong you off, or you can beat the blackout essentially. So like, oh my god, I've won it.
No. That'd be crazy, but I would definitely do it, because initially, like, although I went onto those big crowds, initially when we started with first Smith's tour ever, the first one we had like 50, 60 people, and it's built from that. So I've done lots of little talks, whether it's PT stuff, coaching stuff, going to offices and doing talks like that. But obviously, it's very different when you're going out there being forced to kind of be funny.
Oh yeah, well that's immediately it. Well, like the expectation changes.
Pressure straight away.
Yeah. So like when you go on stage and you're just talking, people are like, oh yeah, well, it's like social convention to just clap afterwards. And
can I have slides?
I mean, certain people do, but like,
really?
Yeah,
what, comedians?
Yeah. Certain comedians have, like, when they do their hour-long shows or whatever, they'll have like, they'll have like slide or whatever. I kind of call that cheating, but is what it is. You're not doing a TED Talk, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, as long as it gets people laughing, it gets people laughing at the end of the day, right? So
how many shows have you got left?
I've got 3 left. Well, as we're recording, so Thursday night, which is tomorrow, I will be in Leicester. That is sold out, and then we've got Brighton and Leeds left.
Leeds, sick.
Yeah,
how many people in Leeds? So is that any of them getting recorded for the last one?
No, that's it. So we recorded 2 London shows. We did 5 shows in London.
Sick.
We recorded 2 because it was 2 of them were on. We did 2 on a Thursday night, 1 on a Friday night, which is the one you and James came to.
Yeah.
And then we did 2 on a Saturday night, and we recorded the ones on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
So because it just makes more sense, because it was 2 shows, So you're like, if there's anything, it's just easier for. I don't know if you're aware about like how they shoot stand-up specials and stuff. So like people like Tom Segura, they usually film like 4 shows or whatever, because that way you wear the same outfit, but then you can do all the jokes and whatever. So then if like you stumble up on a line or whatever, they've got the edit from another show, or
to be able to
and then some jokes may get a bigger reaction in one show that don't get in, but then once you edit it all together, you've got like a massive like reaction for all of it, and it's wonderful.
That's what I do with my videos, innit? Your show, you're incredible, by the way.
Oh,
no, honestly, bruv. No. You're like, I was so
Stop,
gassed.
But continue. No. My friend Eddie says that all the time. Eddie Caddy, yeah, he's sick. Yeah.
But when I walked out, I was like, I'm so gassed by this. He was fucking incredible. I was like, he was so fucking good. I was like, this is fucking sick.
Do you know what? I felt that night as well, the energy was a bit low. I don't know what, but it was because it was an early show. It was a 7:00 show. But like, I felt like, I was comparing it to the night before, 9:30, where everyone was already like lit on it and drunk and let's get it. But it was funny seeing you. You two came late, innit? Like a little bit late. So
I saw you see us.
Yeah, I did the intro, and then I brought Ishan on, Ishan Akbar, who's hilarious.
He's a G, yeah.
But yeah, like it's been fun, man. Like honestly, like it's mad to me, because when I was taking a step back, because obviously we did the Leicester Square Theatre, and it's a 400-seater, and I was just taking a step back to like think about how I sold 5 shows there, which is about 2,000 tickets, right?
Yeah.
And there's TV names that don't do that in London. There's people that are like on TV shows you see all the time or whatever, and they don't do that. And I was just like, raw, like that's like, if I sold 1,500 more tickets, which like in my head, like 1,500, you know how much 1,500 is.
Yeah. But question for you, why so many instead of one big one?
I like the idea of doing small, like, because the energy in that room is amazing, right? That room is beautiful to play, right? And sometimes I feel like it's so much more fun when you do a small room like that, because it feels a lot more intimate.
Yeah.
And you can sell numerous of shows out. Yeah. It just feels better. And then plus you're working every day, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I've got something to do that day.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes I feel like if you just do a big show, one big show, you sort of don't want to struggle to sell it out, if that makes sense.
No, yeah. How many people was the Apollo?
3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, 3,500. So that's what I was saying. If I had 1,500 more, I could do the Apollo. But
you will,
small of it, I think sometimes it's even better when you like, there's a demand for you. So like if you go, because there was still loads of people going, could you add another date? And I was just like, nah, like kind of thing. Like it's done basically.
Leave them wanting a little bit more.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like if I suppose if you do things like that, it's so much better. Like Jimmy Carr always talks about how much he likes playing a lot of those venues that are a bit smaller. He could do the O2 if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But he likes the idea of doing those theatres because it provides an intimate setting where if someone heckles, he can still hear it. Do you see what and you're still aware of what's going on in the room.
Yeah.
So then it gives you more to play around.
Because you can see everything.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And it's just more fun. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, especially if you're like, say you're in the like beginning stages of a tour, or you're doing like a lot of work in progresses, doing it in venues like that, you get to build on it every night or whatever. And when you're working material out and stuff, you get to like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like where, for example, we were recording the last 2 shows, it just made more sense because it's like Thursday and Friday. That's 3 shows that we've done.
Yeah.
It's like by the time it comes to Saturday, you know how the room is, you
put the reps in.
Yeah. So exactly, you know what that room's like, you know what kind of reaction you're going to get, you know what's going to work, what doesn't work, and it's just so much better. Whereas if you just do one big show, it's like a lot of the time it's like and also there's nothing worse than someone booking a big room and
being empty.
Half the like it's like, we're not going to have anybody at the top stalls or whatever. We're just going to have everybody in a round. So that's another reason to it as well. But yeah, like you said, man, always leave people wanting more, and I think like. Hopefully, because I probably won't tour next year, like in 2022, but 2023, hopefully that's when we can go bigger and better. But somewhere like the Leicester Square Theatre, like that was why that was so. So I love the staff there and everything as well. Like I know them on first name basis and stuff.
Yeah.
But like Dave Chappelle done his work in progress shows there. Do you see? Michael McIntyre would do work in progress shows there, and Like big names.
Bro,
love
Jeremy Piven was. I know you don't know who he is, but he's a big fucking Hollywood actor, and I went to see him like 2 weeks before you.
Yeah, he done 2 shows there, innit? Yeah. So like, it's that room is pretty cool. Like, I
know you're tight with the workers because when I went there, there was your poster and your poster moved, and there was a brother in front, right? At security. I said, Rod, they don't rate K, you know. They moved. He goes, no, bruv, we rate K, you know. Like, he's one of our guys. I was like, relax, I was joking, bruv. He's one of my boys. And I was like, He goes, no, we rate him, bruv.
That's probably Malachi, the security guard. Like, I love him to bits, man. He's like, and that's the thing, man, because it's like a family-run theater and stuff as well. Like, where you get to know people, you're just like, they're so much more.
And it feels like, it's a home game, innit?
Yeah.
It's a home game.
Exactly.
It's a home game.
Yeah, sometimes when you do like those big venues, like the bigger venues, it just feels like you're just, we got like Red Hot Chili Peppers in tomorrow and you're just like one of many. Even though you're probably one of many there, but at least that they make you feel valued. So yeah, it's always pretty nice as well.
Do you feel like after, I've had like a pretty crazy year with like everything that I'm doing and even like going on like the traveling when you go to a city and all that, the routine it takes you out of. It's crazy, bro.
When people go, oh my God, man, you're traveling so much. It's like literally, I'll see the venue and a hotel, bro. I don't see anything else.
Yeah.
I might see a kebab shop. I might see like a food place, a coffee shop. I don't see anything else really. Like when you went to Manchester recently. Manchester's a bit different. I love Manchester. I'll spend a bit of time there. But
but I didn't see nothing, bro.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you went to like the venue.
And then we went for a drink and then went home. And then the next day I was in London for something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you don't really see anything. It's like, it's when people, that's why when people say, oh, footballers, man, they have a great life. Like, they must be like.
Bro, footballers are fucking lonely, bro. But I swear, like, sometimes they think people are like, oh, 20 bags a week, 30 bags a week, all this stuff. They spend it on items because they can't spend it any other way because they don't have the time to. I don't know, man. 30
bags a week, I'll take the loneliness, you know.
Do you reckon?
What for 200 bags a week? Bruv, I'll take the loneliness, you know. I'll speak to a therapist on Zoom. What are you talking about, bruv? 200, but do you know how much therapy I could pay for? I could
just meditate, bruv.
Yeah, man said just meditate. But you put 200 bags a week, I'll be fine, bruv.
Nah, bruv, I couldn't do that, you know.
Yeah, you say that.
Although I did want that life when I was younger, and I'm very glad it didn't happen.
You're saying that now, but 200 bags a week. Come on, man. I'd have done it for a year.
Yeah, but bruv.
For a year.
Yeah, but listen, what about... and then done.
Yeah.
And then done. But what about like after...
All right, Phil Jones, yeah? His life must be banging, bruv. Right? He's been on the bench for how long? Doesn't even go to games, bruv. No, all right. Forget Phil Jones. Lee Grant, yeah? Lee Grant is Man United's like 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper, yeah?
Yeah.
The guy hasn't played a competitive game, right? He gets to chill with Ronaldo every day and whatever. Matches come and they're all going off to like, I don't know, like Atalanta to play and whatever. He's just chilling at home with his kids, whatever, on about 50 bags a week. Fine.
But is he happy?
I reckon he's ecstatic, bro.
No, bro. I don't believe that.
Ecstatic,
if he's a competitor that's made it that far, he's fuming that he's not playing, bro.
Bro, at 35, he's gassed,
35 is... Yeah, okay, 35
well,
is different.
He's in his 30s, isn't it? He's gassed, bro. What are you talking about, bro? I get to chill with Ronaldo every day. I'm like,
But Ronaldo won't even chat to him, bro.
Nah,
he's like, you're the 5th goalkeeper.
I'll be like, Lingard, hey, Lingard, sign this for my son. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, Jadon Sancho's there, whatever. He gets to get all these shirts signed and everything. Bro, do you know how much stuff I'll be putting on eBay every day, bro?
Why? Because you got so much time you've been playing.
That's what I'm saying. Essentially, you're just getting paid to work out at that point.
So how much money would make you happy then?
Well, there was a study in America that said like 80 grand a year. Yeah. After that, it doesn't affect your happiness.
It doesn't.
But I reckon
no, it doesn't, bruv. It doesn't, 100%.
I reckon if I have a house like that I own, and then like...
But quickly, say you have a house, right?
Yeah.
You signed it, you paying the mortgage. How much happy is that really
No mortgage, bruv. Man's going to buy it outright. Don't care. That's what I mean, innit?
But how much happier would that make you though, bruv?
Bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you can bring No, I'm joking. No one's free yard. No, I think it's just one of them. I mean, I'm playing around. Yeah, like I don't know, man. So I mean, because I've had that where like a friend was like to me, like, all right, now you have the house, now what? because and the way we sort of think, very similar mentality where you're like, all right, now what am I doing? Like kind of thing. You've got the yard and you're like, now what? And you're always striving for something else.
You want more?
Yeah. I reckon if there's an amount of money where you don't have to think about money.
That's what I'm saying.
That is
it's the freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the freedom that buys you. Do you know what I mean?
Like, listen, man. Like, you see, when I see people in day jobs, and they're just sat there like in a suit and whatever, I'm like,
that makes me. Like, personally, I just can't do it because I know I've never done a suit job, but I've done those jobs where I can't do that.
Do you know when you ask people? I don't know if you do it, but like, you know, sometimes as comics, like we ask people in a crowd, like, oh, what you do, whatever. See, when people say I do project management, I work in advertising, I don't know what any of these things are. You know, like, what projects are you managing? Firstly, that's so like vague to me. It's like, what kind of projects are you managing? And it's like,
that's because they're trying to figure it out too.
Yeah, exactly. Probably. And then they're like recruitment. I'm like, why the hell is everybody in recruitment? And then I'd speak to my friends and they're like, there's no jobs. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's another thing. Like, you're there. And then advertising. How many people does it need to work in advertising? Have you ever done voiceover work?
No.
Oh, bruv, you'll be on a call and there's like 6 people going, yeah, no, I think that sounds right and whatever. And you're like, does it need 6 of you to like sign this off immediately? Like, So yeah, all of those jobs really make me go.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. What would you say what was your worst job that you hated? Because when did you transfer from full-time comedian?
So hold on, I worked in financial services.
Where?
In the city. It was in the city, right? So I worked in Next in Croydon for about 3 or 4 years. Before that, I worked 2 shifts at Fulham Football Club in the, that was the worst, bruv.
Really?
Listen, no, it wasn't, but it was one of, man, because like you're going there and then like, I remember, I did one match. One of my shifts.
What were you doing?
I was working in hospitality.
Okay.
Like in the boxes, right? So then there's these rich people coming and you have to like wait on them hand and foot, right? And I felt like a dickhead. I was like, no, my parents didn't come to this country for this shit. For me to like open a wine bottle for some fucking prick to be eating it while watching Stuart Downing
isn't that haram, bruv? I swear. You shouldn't even be serving that.
Yeah, bruv. I couldn't even open a bottle of alcohol. The guy was like, do you want me to help you? And I was like, yeah. And then there was like all this food and stuff that we weren't allowed to eat and whatever. Like there was cakes and stuff that we just had to throw away. Like, hadn't been touched. And we had to throw it away. Eat it. Yeah, you have to just throw it away. Like, you get sacked for eating it. And then I did one shift there and I was like, I ain't coming here again, bruv. I remember Gareth Southgate was a manager for Middlesbrough at the time. Look how old I am. And then I worked in financial services after I worked at Next. Next was mad because people were rolling under the shutters during sale time and stuff, like 5 a.m, all of that. That was long. And then, the financial services, bruv, I was there like, and I was like, I remember like, I was like, you know, when you were younger, you thought everyone that dressed up in a suit must be doing something important, innit? No, just must be doing something important, innit? And then you're there, you're like, raw, I'm wearing a machine washable suit from like Top Man or something. Like, it's some dead suit, right? And then you're on the way to work and you like the highlight of your morning was being able to get a seat at the same time you were able to get a coffee and a pan au chocolat, like, because usually it was one or the other. Like, if I get a coffee, I ain't gonna get a seat on the train. But like, you know, when you got both, oh my god, like you felt gassed. And then I knew it was long, right? When I started recognizing people on the commute. So like, if you went to the station every day at like say 7:30,
bro, I see the same. I've been there.
Yeah, and you see the same people, and you're like, and then you start thinking, oh, where's
he gone? Is he okay? You don't even know him, bro. Are they all right?
Yeah. Where's white guy with the blue shirt? He's usually here on time. I hope he's okay. And then you see him back the next week, and he's got a bit of a tan. You're like, he's on holidays. Welcome back. But you can't just say hello to him, innit? Yeah. That and then, but no, I remember being there, right? And I was just like, because you know when you finish uni, you never went to uni, innit?
No.
So
didn't make you pass college, innit?
Oh, is it? Yeah, but look.
Well, I didn't want to.
Yeah, but look at you. You drive an AMG. What do they do? Exactly. Piss off, bruv. I've been to his yard. His kitchen's sick. You look with your dead kitchens, sharing it with the 4 housemates.
Man's got half an island, bruv.
It's true though. You do. Man, these lot sharing their bathroom with other people and that, bruv. You got an ensuite, big man. Live your life, bruv. You lot having to like, share like, nah, man, that's long, man. Like you're all doing your laundry together, underwear touching and that, bruv. Your boxes are touching another man's boxes. It's nasty, bruv. Anyway, I don't know why, but anyway, So you know when you come out of uni and everyone's like, oh yeah, like after that, like your life's gonna be fine, kind of.
Yeah.
And you come out of uni, you get a job, and you're like, bro, this is sick. I'm working in a city. That novelty wears off after about 2 weeks.
Did you have that mentality though when you were younger? Did you have that, like, as in, were you? I kind of knew that was never going to happen for me in the sense of I always knew uni don't do that, right?
Listen,
but did you have that mentality of when you were at uni, I'm going to be okay after this?
I didn't know. Listen, I've always had that sort of mentality where I'm like, I'm meant to be a somebody in it. I don't know about you, but I'm meant to be a somebody in it. Like,
you know what? You know what's mad? I'm so glad you said that. Me and James have this conversation, and he says that he never thought this, and he said this on stage. He goes, when I chat to Diren always says, I'm going to do something great. Whereas he goes, I never actually knew. And I don't believe him. I find it hard to believe. And I tell him this, I'm like, how, bro? Really? I'm like, what do you mean? This doesn't just stumble upon you. Like, it doesn't happen, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's probably why he's got more followers than both. He's not too try hard about it. Do you know what I mean? It just happens to him. No, but also, like, how amazing is it being blonde and blue-eyed? Like, just getting through life. Like, I didn't expect any of it. Everything's amazing and fine. It's happening,
I'm so happy about this. Oh, my God.
I didn't expect any of it.
I'm so grateful. Wait.
Shut up, you trust fund baby! I'm joking. No, I always just thought, listen, I'm going to be a somebody in it. I don't know about you lot, but something's going to happen. Like, I need to be doing something. And then when I'm working in there, like, I'm just looking around at people, and then, like, there's guys that are like, yeah, I've been doing this job 40 years, and they're in a suit, and they're, like, losing their hair, and they're fat and whatever.
Fuck that.
I was like, is this my future? I don't want to look like that. And then, your tie just feels like a dog collar on you, and do you know what I mean? And you're just like...
You're part of that system.
Bruh, yeah, and you're like, bruv, like, how is another man telling me when I can't go to the toilet? And like,
you know, okay.
By the way, I preferred having female managers, right? They always knew, they always knew how to deal with people a lot better. When you've got male managers, they're always on some ego trip, bruv. Like, allow it, Mark. Like, do you know what I mean? They were just like, you're my intellectual inferior. In no other aspect of life would I ever, like, sit down and respect you and whatever. But somehow, because you're wearing, like, like, you've been here a few more years than me, I've got to look at you and get my time slip signed off and whatever. Oh, I hated it.
But you know what I think that is? I think that could be something to do with your, maybe, and tell me if I'm wrong, political view as well as mine, in the sense of kind of doing everything against the system. Me personally, I don't like doing anything where someone's like, oh, you should be doing this. I'm like, no, I'm fucking not going to do that, bro.
So you don't do well with authority, essentially. That's
I can't.
Yeah. See,
when someone tells me to do something, or they're saying it should be like this, I'm like, who the fuck said it should be like that, bruv? You need to create your own way of living or life.
Well, I'm more logical. I mean? I'm like, all right, so say, for example, with comedy, for example, right? There are a lot of comics say to me a lot of the time, oh, yeah, I want to be on TV, a lot of younger comics. And I'm like, well, what program do you want to be on TV? Like, what do you watch?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like, I don't know, I don't really watch TV. So I'm like, if you don't really watch TV... and, like, there's not really much programs that you like on TV, why do you want to be on TV? Like, no, like, of course, like, if there's a program that you've written or whatever that you want to be, but if there's not, like, a certain thing that you watch, what is it that, do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I want to go to the Edinburgh Fringe in order to get, like, industry to see me so I can get on TV and whatever. And it's like, no, you could bypass all of that and go straight on, like, go on YouTube. Look at Diren, he's a fucking personal trainer. He's selling out shows, bro.
Hey, legit. But it is a fair point. It's a fair point. Yeah.
Like, I always bring up you and James, and there's a couple other YouTubers that I bring up as examples to people. I'm like, bro, they're looking at you like you're a dickhead. No, real talk. I'm like, if go speak to Diren, he's gonna look at you like you're an idiot. Diren's just sold out Clapham Grand. What have you done? Like, it's just because you're like, oh yeah, I'm just, like, because of what you lot do as well. For example, there was no pathway.
No.
You lot are just making it up as you go along, and I mean that in the nicest of senses.
It's
like, it's not like, it's not like that's not a diss. It's more like there's nobody that's come before you. So like people now, there's probably some young personal trainer somewhere like in Hammersmith or whatever, looking at you guys going, raw, I'm gonna do what they do, kind of thing. Do you see where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
That's why they go IFS and you lot sell tickets. Hey, do what we do, but really badly.
But you know what? At IFS and those things, I'm always like, stop. Like, you need to do your own way of whatever it is you need to do. Like, being creative. But people find it, which is why, I don't know about you, but do you watch everyone's stories on Instagram? Do you watch everyone's Insta? No. Neither do I, bro. No. I think it's very easy to get influenced by people around you. So
also,
I stay
like,
distant.
mute a lot of people now. I mute a lot of people. It's just healthier. Just watch what you want to. So like, literally just meme pages, like and like a couple of people that I like that are on there. But like, so, if they're in your own industry as well, I get why you mute them because you're just like,
I don't want to see it.
Yeah. You don't want to see it. It's fair enough. Like, and I'm very much similar to that. But yeah, when I was saying like you guys are making it up as you go along, there's a beauty in that because it's like this is an untrodden pathway, and you lot are just having fun with it and going forward with it, and there is nobody going, well, this is the way it was done and you should do it like this and this. So like, but then there'll probably be somebody now going, oh yeah, but Diren and James done it like this, and it's like that the smart way is to be like, all right, cool, but what works for them doesn't necessarily work for you. So that's what I say about like comedy, for example, as well, where it's like you because there's been this pathway of like going through this X, Y, and Z and going there and doing this and whatever. People seem to think that, oh, that's what I need to do in order to sell tickets. Where it's like, no, like the world's changed. You don't like, do you know what I mean? Like we don't do anything like we did. It's like I said on stage, I wouldn't compare anything. I wouldn't compare anything to 1793, let alone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
of course.
But it's like, so I wouldn't compare anything to like 1993 or 2003. Like we live in a different age.
Why do you think people get stuck in that?
It's easy. It's comfort. It's like a comfort.
You know what?
Yeah.
I fucking love that you said that.
Yeah.
I think it's easy, and I also think it's lazy.
Yeah.
Because every time because a lot of the time when people complain about their lives, right? And I do show sympathy, and I get it, and I get why they might feel like that. But I also think when people are like, I really want to improve, I really want to do this, I really want to do that, and I'm like, but you're kind of choosing not to do it and choosing your position that you're in.
Yeah. But do you know what? Like, look, one of my best mates, right? He used to work in a gym. He was a manager at a gym, right? And he's one of my best mates. In fact, he was part of the crew that was filming my special, kind of thing. So,
Sick.
like, I remember what he said to me. Like, he was a manager at a gym, like a really good one as well. Like, and he was just like, "Do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore." And I was like, "What do you want to do?" And he was like, "I want to do videography." He's like, "I want to do videography," and I was like, "All right, well." And he's one of the only people that's ever told me he wants to do something and actually just done it. He saved up 3 months worth of wages and was like, look, within 3 months, if I don't make any inroads, worst comes to worst, I'll look for another job in a gym, right? Within 3 months, like, he was making money from videography and whatever. And the reason he said it was because he wanted to pick up his son from school. He didn't want to, that was why he wanted a job that was flexible enough where he could pick up his son from school and not miss out on those moments where, like.
And he's doing that now?
Like, that's what I'm saying. This is like almost 10 years later, he's like on shoots with like professional rugby clubs, professional football clubs. You know what I mean? Like proper like sick. Branded and corporate work and stuff. But it was all from that. And like his relationship with his son is one of the best ever. Like he can go on school trips. Like his son's school will be like, can his dad come to the school trip with us, and he'll be there with like the kids and stuff. And that's because he can work 3 days out of a week or whatever, do some edits at home and whatever. And he's got, but it all came from him taking that leap of faith where people are like, oh yeah, but how'd you save or whatever? Like, you can save. Like I don't care what anybody says. Like, however long it takes, save up that money and then get to where you need to. I understand, like, it's hard for a lot of us, but like, you listen, man, like, if you really want it, you'll go out and find a way.
Do you think, a lot of times when I have these conversations with, like, especially like around, if I chat to anyone in like Clapham, Southwest.
Oh, yeah.
And when they talk to me about these conversations, the first thing I ask is, how much money you got in your bank? They're like, what? I'm like, how much money you got in your bank? Like, how much money have you got in your fucking bank? Like, how long could you last with going for it? They're like, 5-6 months? I'm like, are you fucking joking? I'm like, so you're complaining about not having enough to go for whatever it is that you want, but you've got 6 months.
If you've got 5 or 6 months, you're rich, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but there are people that during COVID, they were like, right, if this job's done, I'm homeless, bro.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. And I'm like, so, but I think that also, it grows because they've always had everything. So therefore, they can't make that leap because they've never... We've seen nothing.
But that's the thing, though. Like, if you're somebody that's used to going out every week, like a couple Deliveroos here and there, like a day, like, and all of that sort of stuff,
brunches and shit.
Yeah, it's very hard for you to go, what? Like, I just got to chill at home, and do you know what I mean? It's like, oh no, I can't have Disney Plus and Netflix and Amazon Prime and whatever. I got to make some sacrifice. Then it is. You don't understand 123 movies. You weren't there, bruv. You weren't there on 123movies.com, like trying to like get rid of bare like flipping. Hey, do you know what? So this was one thing, like for example, where you're like, what does the money do to make you happier, right?
Yeah.
Halfway through, it was like a month into COVID, innit? And you know when like the football started coming back in the stadiums and whatever, and I was just trying to find some stream to watch it on, innit? And it was like all these pop-ups were coming in. I was like, hold on, like, why don't I just pay for like Sky? Why am I being a broke-ass bum and don't stream illegally, guys? Like, I'm hypothetically, my brother was doing it, innit? Like, but do you know what I mean? And I was like, let me just pay for it, whatever. But yeah, you can go back to other ways of watching. Like, wait for Match of the Day to come up. Yeah. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad that my parents kind of had nothing initially, and then I really didn't have anything.
I think we say that to make ourselves, to justify our struggles.
No, I say that
I learned from it, man. It made me a stronger person.
But it did,
big man. I know.
It did.
But we should. You know when certain people go, no, I wouldn't just want the money. You know when certain people say to me, I wouldn't want to just win the lottery. I'd want to earn the money. Yeah. I'm like, you're chatting shit, bro.
Really?
100%.
Nah, bro.
Listen, I'm done with struggling, you know?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, though. But you only know that and feel like that because you've had that element of struggle.
Yeah, but like listen, man. If the boiler in your house has never broken and you've had to like just like you've been without hot water for 2 weeks, or you've never had like the electrics in your house go out and you don't like you don't understand certain things, man.
Do you remember the old electric thing when you used to put the? Do you remember that?
Yeah. What do you mean remember? No, I'm joking.
Do you remember that? We used to £10 electric.
Yeah.
But I knew a sick system, I had to fuck that, you know.
Well, I mean, we know which bit to edit out. But it's the thing though, like when people say, "Oh yeah, no, I'd wanna earn the money." Like, I'm like, cool, man, that's very noble of you. Me, I'm trying to win the Euro Millions, innit? You give me the 93 mil, and I'll show you.
What would you do?
What would I do? I'd build a studio like this, bruv. What are you talking about? What would I do? I'd have you over every day and be like, do you want to record a podcast? We'll be live streaming 24 hours a day, bro.
We could do that anyway, bro.
No, bro. Do you know how expensive this place is, bro? He told me the prices. I'm playing around.
No, bro.
Yeah, I have my own producer. I'll employ my own producer. I pay him.
Jamie, bring that up.
Yeah, exactly. I pay him his own salary. I'd buy my own gym. Like, come on, man. Like, there's just certain things. I'd have. Do you know what it is?
Okay. Nah. Would you still try and sell out? Would you still aim to one day sell out the Apollo? Would you still try to be the best comedian in the UK?
Oh yeah.
You would?
It's just.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
With 93 mil?
100%.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that.
You still go Leicester? I'd be like, no, Leicester's long. Bro.
No, but I get someone to drive me. Okay. Do you see where I'm coming from? I'll be in the tour bus you man are in. Yeah. That kind of thing, right? Like. Being the tour bus the rich people have, like you look, like, do you know what I mean? Where you're playing PS5 and that in the thing. I was like, right, I don't even have a PS5 at home. These guys have one in a van. Like, Jesus. I need some clients. I saw Diren giving out gifts to his clients. I was like, damn. You gave a client an iPhone? I need an iPhone. So how'd you afford that?
Sign up for projectx.com.
Projectx.com. Now, here's this podcast is sponsored by Need Up 24/7. Are you feeling fat? Do you want to do something about it? Are you tired of counting calories with no accountability? Introducing Project X by Diren Kartal. Sign up now for a free trial. Remember, if you don't see any results, you can fuck off and get your money back.
I'm definitely using that for an ad, bro.
Welcome back to the Diren Kartal podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with Kae Kurd. Hi, it's me.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, no, I would still, but do you know what it was like we were discussing earlier? It would just give me the freedom to just do whatever. But I really want to build my own studio. I'll just have a studio like this, how I'd want it, kind of thing. Screens.
You can't do that at home now with some equipment?
No, man, I ain't letting people in my house, bro. Some of these people on it. You think I'm inviting some of these people to Streatham? Like, oh, come on. Imagine like you've got like
Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, big man, do you want to come to my yard? Hey, take your shoes off though, bro. Like, tell him, man's just there in your yard with his socks on, like in a suit. It's not happening, bro. But yeah, I'll probably. Do you know where it is? Do you know whose house I was looking at? Eddie Hall.
Oh yeah.
And he's got like the cryotherapy chamber, the hyperbaric chamber. He's got a sauna. He's got a cold pool, a spa.
Didn't he not do a fight in his garden or something?
Bruv, I don't know what he was doing, but you see all of that stuff he's got?
Yeah.
All of those chambers and stuff, like for recovery. I was like, I need them, bruv. Like just a cryotherapy chamber. Then he's got the handheld one where like, you will never get any aches and pains from the gym again. Again, bruv. Like, imagine you've been jiu-jitsu today and you're like, my body's mash up, innit?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like, you go there, what? You hit the sauna, little cryotherapy.
Okay, man. I like the struggle, bruv.
Yeah, you like the whatever, man. Yeah. You see when people, like, look at Jeff Bezos now, yeah?
Yeah.
And look at Jeff Bezos in the 90s. Jeff Bezos looks younger now than he did in the 90s. He's got, even though he still don't have hair, but like, he looks hench. Bruv, I want the roids these men are on, innit? Like, because you know, like everyone, like, listen, don't take roids, innit? Right? Don't take roids. I haven't taken any of that stuff in my life because you know the roids that you get at this stage in your life, right, where it's all illegal and shit, right? You don't know what you're getting, innit?
It's not good quality.
Yeah, it's not good quality, bruv. Like, it's just
you want the shit the Rock's got.
Yeah, exactly, bruv. Like, and people are like, what, the Rock's on roids? Duh! Like, man looks fucking like the jaw has muscles. Anyway. If I was at that level, I'd be taking roids. Like when I saw Kamal Nanjiani, like that Asian brother, yeah, and then he was in a Marvel film. Like this guy's a comedian and he's jacked, right? And people are like, oh, how do you get jacked? Rich roids. Rich roids, bro. Yeah,
the only reason I know that is because I know brothers caked up that have done that before in Australia. These men get blood tests every day, bro.
Yeah, that's
the doctors tell them exactly how much test that they need. They see the test that they have. It's levels. All right,
so TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, for those of you watching at home. Would you ever do that?
You know what? If I'm like 40, 45 and I got a little dip in something, bruv.
Come on, bruv!
I will touch it up.
What do you mean a little dip? Bruv, you see, we're naturally all right. Like, I think from our part of the world, we're fine. Like, yeah, I mean,
got a
like,
lot of tests.
Yeah, like, what? Wake up in the morning.
Wake up in the morning.
Just every day, there's surplus. But there's going to come a time where you get that little...
dip.
Brother...
You're on that, yeah.
100%. But I mean, like you said, it's like they get blood tests every day.
Yeah.
They get they look at like every sort of detail of their body and then go, right, you could do this. That,
problem with that is they also end up relying on it a little bit mentally.
Oh, mentally. I don't know about that, but listen, if I got that much money, I can rely on that mentally, bruv. What are you talking about, bruv? What? It's the ease, the freedom it gives you. You're forever young, bruv.
I'm excited to see your first meal, bruv. I want to see how this answer changes.
What, my first meal? And do you know what? I'm depressed anyway, so you're going to see me like...
Hold on, actually.
You're going to see me like, no, man, the money don't make you happy, bruv. At the end of the day, it's just love and the family that you keep around you, bruv. It's the people that you keep around you that keep you grounded.
Bro, you sound like me, bruv.
Yeah. Been hanging around you too long. Yeah. No, look, I joke around about money, but I know they wouldn't. I know you know. I know but you know. It's just. Hey, man, we're making content.
I know.
The listeners, there's somebody right now that's on the tube or on
smiling,
or they're it's like their 37th minute on the stepper. Why the fuck are you on the stepper?
Get off the stepper.
Get your knee up 24/7 outside. Stop doing kickbacks on the stepper. I'm there in the gym and I'm seeing you do kickbacks on the stepper. Allow it. Anyway, there's somebody doing that right now in the gym laughing. So that's what I do it for.
Question.
Yeah.
On stage, you mentioned something about mental health.
Yeah.
Right? Have you struggled with mental health?
I think we all do, but everyone I mean the bit about
do you talk about it ever?
Yeah, I mean it's gonna come. I mean I talk about it on stage, and I think wait for my special to come out hopefully sometime in January, and you'll see it. But I think the thing is about, I mean, the point I made when I was on stage was that we tell people to open up about their mental health, but we don't equip people with the tools in order to deal with their friend opening up about mental health.
Do you think just being there is enough?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No, because it's like if you tell me you're depressed and I'm like, boy, like
I'm here for you, bro.
Like, when people go, oh yeah, no man, I'm here, man. But the reality is, like, even when you tell somebody you're sad, and it's like, it's not even that you tell them like you're if you feel like you're burdening them. Yeah. It's more just like, what's he gonna do about it? Like, the best thing you can do for your friend though, that if you sense that they're down, is go, let's go for some food. Let's do this, let's do that. Do an activity where it takes their mind off of it, I feel like, rather than necessarily talking about. I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on people talking about their problems and whatever. But if you don't know how to deal with their problems, or you don't know how to deal with that, like, then you're just going to be back to square one. And I think sometimes the most you can do for someone is just get them out of that rut. So a lot of the time, when people try isolating themselves, when you've probably been sad like that.
Yeah, 100%.
and you try to isolate yourself.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing you could possibly do, because then you're alone again with your thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I'll ring you, like, or I'll message you. I'll be like, "Yo, you're good."
Yeah,
kind of thing. And it's just like, let's do something.
Because you know what it's like to go on stage, come off.
Oh, well, but that's the thing though, where, like I said, I've been able to deal with it. Like, I've seen it from. And not to say I'm a depressed guy, but I'm just saying, like, we all have like mental health, like. Dips here and there, like, it's just like your physical health, right?
Yeah.
But where like you do smaller venues and you're used to it, and then gradually you do bigger venues. So, like, for example, that night, I shot my special or whatever.
Yeah.
We've done like 2 shows, 400 people each, whatever, and then I was just on my phone, and then like everybody else is like around me's gassed, my management's gassed, like everyone. Bro, you not excited? I was like, right now I was just working it, like, kind of thing, in it. And it's just like, to me, that's what it's becoming. It's just like, oh yeah, no, it was great, but it's just like, I was happy, but it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, we did this. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just like, oh yeah, okay,
it's
cool.
hard to express, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just like, I was happy, but it was just like the kind of until I see things like. Until I see like the edit and whatever, it's not going to gas me.
Yeah,
you know? And I was also happy about like performing those shows, but it was like whatever. But what my point was about the bigger shows was, I've been used to like doing the smaller shows and then gradually working my way up. Whereas if you're somebody that's gone from nothing and then going to do like 600-700 people, and then you're in your car later by yourself, and you've got all this energy. The great thing is you've got friends around you. At that time to share that with, right? So you've got like James and everybody else with you. So like you've got like this experience.
But I've also seen, I know I'm smart in a way. I've seen the build up of doing the other shows, not being specifically my ones, but being part of ones that have grown. So I've kind of seen that side anyway. And I think the best thing that me and Smith have had is that we've actually had each other every time.
Yeah. But imagine you're by yourself.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different. And we talk about this. We're actually very lucky in that sense. Like, I remember when we were in Australia, bruv, we went from one city to another, and we were like, we sat on the fucking flight together and was like, bruv, imagine if we were on our own doing this right now. It'd be fucking very different, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Very
different. Like, and that's why when people are like, it must be the best job in the world, and you're like, no, but you can be lonely a lot of the time. It is a lonely job. That's why, like, I'm so happy to have Ishan with me on this tour.
Yeah, sick. I love him, by the way.
Ishan Akbar, if you don't know him, go and check him out. He's hilarious. Yeah, like, so, but he's just such a great friend as well. So he was more gassed for the tour than I was. Like, he's just coming in, like, playing music and whatever. He's like, why are you not gassed? And I'm just like, I'm happy. We just express it in a different. But it's fun to have somebody like that with you. Whereas, like, for years, when you're on the circuit, you're doing things by yourself. Like, you'd be booked to do a weekend at a comedy club, for example, in Cardiff, right? And you don't know anyone in Cardiff, right? Yeah. And, like, do you know what? Like, when you're younger, like, you probably end up just going on Tinder or something, right? And going, like, let me see if I can find someone to go for a drink with, or like go for a meal with afterwards, or do you know what I mean? And it's like something to try, like, but when you look back at it, like, all I'm yearning for is a bit of company. Because, like, even though, like, you're on the lineup with some comedians, they're not necessarily comedians that are your friends.
Yeah, it's different.
So it's different. So you're like, okay, cool. So like I get there on a Friday, and then after the show I'm by myself, and then like you go back to the hotel, like you might get a bit of food by yourself, whatever. But then that whole Saturday, you're alone.
It's lonely, bruv.
Yeah, and then it's like so you end up trying to do things to fill the time with, like, let me go gym, let me go cinema, let me do whatever. Like, like the amount of time I spent in Birmingham running around Bullring, just walking around the Bullring Centre, doing absolutely nothing because you're just like bored out of your skull. You're like, can't stay at the hotel this whole time. So yeah, like that sort of stuff does weigh on your mental health, and what people don't understand is the amount of social events you miss out on with your friends and stuff.
Like, every weekend, like I've been busy, you've been busy, right?
Yeah.
And it's and
your schedule's different to all of your mates.
Yes, and they don't understand in the sense of, when you like, do you find it hard to, say your mates, you want to hang out with them, but like you're trying to almost, I'm not gonna lie, last week, after what happened in the last few weeks, I'm still very much trying to process what's happening and what's happened.
Rob, what were you processing, big man? You're famous, you're rich. No.
I'm not rich, not yet. But like you're processing everything. So it's kind of like trying to figure out what happened. Like, did I enjoy it? Obviously enjoyed it, but like kind of what's next? I can't stop now. Do I need to chill for a bit? And then your friends are like, come here, come there. Or your friends are trying to come to, I don't know, backstage just before you do the show, and you're like, bruv, I need to get this done. Let me see you after. They're like, what do you mean, bruv? You're just going to talk on stage. I'm like, yeah, but...
Yeah. And also, but like, you can't have everybody come in.
No, you can't, yeah.
It's just after a while, you're like, bro, this dressing room is very small. I've seen that dressing room at Clapham Grand. It's surprisingly small.
Yeah.
Like, people think it's massive. But, no, it's not even just that, though, but it's like, you'll miss out on a birthday. You'll miss out on a group outing. There might be a group holiday that you can't go on, and like gradually, there's like experiences and stuff that they've all had, and then they're used to you not being there. So it's just like it becomes different. And I also feel like when I suppose when I get on with yourself and James and these lot so much, because even though we do vastly different things, but we've because you're all self-employed.
Yeah.
Like our schedules are the same. We sort of go through the same sort of stuff. It's easier to relate to you than it is to somebody that works in an office job or like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, we're all like pretty much.
It's Wednesday, 2 p.m.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, like we can just be like, oh, do you want to do something Monday at like 11? Yeah. And it's fine. But it's like, oh, Friday at 7? No,
that's long, bro.
I can't do that.
I'm chilling on the sofa, innit?
But I'm like, no, I've got something I'm working or whatever. Just so it's like very different schedules and whatever. But yeah, you're used to like having a level of freedom that other people aren't. So it is. I mean, look,
is it worth it for you?
We're very privileged in a sense. We're very privileged in a sense as well that we can. Yeah, we're very privileged to be able to do that. And look, you're broke for ages, innit, when you do this until you actually start making. I mean, the amount of time you lot probably spent on a gym floor, like where no one was watching your videos.
Bro, I've said this. I don't know if you might know this or not, but last year I had £1,000 in my account. I had, just before COVID, I had no money. I had nothing. I was like I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do.
£1,000 in your account?
Yeah, like as in Project X and all this stuff. I was like, COVID. I was like, nah, this is not time to sleep. This is time to get to work.
Yeah.
And then that kind of changed everything in the sense of the way I was always like,
one good year can change your life. Yeah,
it can. But the thing is, I think building up to that, it's
right. You had a good credit rating, though.
But I didn't initially. Now I'm all right.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens when you have white friends, innit? White best friends, your credit score goes up, bruv. But like I've been there, and you constantly swinging punches and nothing happens. No one usually sees that because you're constantly taking risks. Like when you're going and doing stand up in front of, I don't know.
Well, like
how many people.
For example, that's you saw me on stage, but all of those jokes are a culmination of like me writing the last couple of years and going out and trying it and going, all right, this works, that works, this works. Different audiences and whatever, to the point where, and you see my audience, it's like so diverse. I'll have like the other night in Nottingham, it was the best sort of like indication of it. I had the older couple to my left hand side, like a lesbian couple in front of me, a group of girls in hijabis, a mixed race guy with his girlfriend, like a group of black boys, and you're like where else would this
happen?
Do you know what I mean? So it was like it's mad where like you see all of that as well. So I forgot why I was even saying that. I think I was just showing off.
It's like years of work that's gone into an hour.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So the years, you don't see the build up. You don't see going into like a comedy club with like 30 people there, or a new material night where you've got like your notes with you and you're on stage with that. But yeah, I mean, people just see the finished product, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people go, I could do what Diren does. I could do what Diren does.
Do you get frustrated when people judge you on that?
Nah, I mean, look, man, like, I think this is why it's so important to put content out there.
Yeah.
I feel like, because people can see the growth of it.
Yeah.
So people go, I remember when you did this, X, Y, and Z, and you're like, oh yeah. Like
and they do remember,
the amount of videos that I released during lockdown, and people will stop me in the street and go, that video that you did, and I forgot I did it. I'm like, right, yeah, that one was.
I should repost that.
Yeah, no. Like, I rarely repost stuff, but like, I look at it, I was like, oh yeah, crap, like, I did do that, innit? That was funny. And then, but that's the thing, that, like, because I always like the idea when people called, you know, when musicians release songs and they call it a record.
Yeah.
And for me, it was always like, I always like thinking that as a record of time.
Yeah.
Like it's you're recording
a moment.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's like when people listen to certain bits of music from an artist and they're like, they're never going to be as good as that album or whatever. And you're like, well, that's because you associate so much with that record of time. Of
whatever you were going through or
with
that song.
Yeah, you might have been going through a breakup and Drake's So Far Gone slapped for you like nothing else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or like Adele's album was like, oh my God, I can relate to everything. So then but like, you're happy 5 years later. So when Adele releases something new, you're like, I can't relate.
That, bruv.
This ain't as good as
what she did before.
Yeah, but then you're like, so then you're like, like I don't. But you're in a different place, innit? You're in a different time. But but it's great to see that with musicians because it's literally a record of what they're going through at that time. And I think with content creators, you shouldn't be ashamed. Like, and I see people like deleting stuff that they've done before, or like, you know, when people on Instagram want to look like. All right, okay, bruv, we get it. You've got 700k followers, but you've only got 20 posts.
Yeah,
you know when you like start archiving like all of their stuff. Like, fair enough if it's pictures and stuff, but like when it's content out there, like videos and stuff, like don't be ashamed, man. Like the stuff that you release at the beginning is hilarious. Like when you look back on it, but there's a journey in there, and it's beautiful. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to pick up an autobiography later on. And go, yeah, well, man, just made it, innit? It was great. Like
people want to hear the story.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess, but I guess it shows there must be like really insecure about some things to be able to like delete all of that. Do you know what I mean? I
mean, I don't know where it is.
I mean, I've looked at my old videos and I even showed on
DK here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
DK.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, right, who's this dickhead, bro?
But if you're not thinking that, that's worrying.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. Yeah, exactly.
If you're not thinking that's where it gets worrying. You're like, raw. And but you could imagine if you met that like, when did you start all of this stuff? 5 years ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He probably wouldn't be listening to your advice and stuff. He'd probably be like, who's this guy? I don't know anything, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably a lot more hard-headed and whatever.
Yeah.
And a great thing about like releasing stuff into the internet and whatever is that very quickly audiences will let you know whether it's shit or not.
Yeah.
Right?
It's pretty amazing.
So it humbles you.
Yeah.
Right? It humbles you like no other thing. So then you're a lot more open to taking advice and criticism. Yeah, but like you become a lot more open to criticism, whereas like a lot of people will be like for example, a lot of people that get involved with content creation, whatever it is, whether it's stand up or like you're making funny videos or it's just like making stuff for your business or whatever, they will release a video and then they go, only 200 people saw that. Like, I don't know if this is for me. And you're like, of course it isn't after one video, bruv. Whoever like who
made it in one video?
What?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, especially when it's someone that like, say for example, it's a PT and they're like, like, I've got my first client. This PT malarkey shit. I thought I'd have 10 by now. It's like, bruv, you just qualified.
You just started.
Yeah, you just qualified. What, you're expecting to just get like 10, 15 clients a week instantly? It doesn't work like that. There's challenges that build up to it. So it's so funny that we take what we do offline and we're like, it's going to take time. Yeah. Whereas online, people expect the results instantly. Yeah, and it's not going to happen. Because it's like, who's going to get 15 clients straight after they qualify? Like, it's just not going to happen.
It takes so much time to find your feet online.
Yeah.
As well as, I'm sure, how long it took you to find your feet being on stage as a comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put those reps in to understand, like, your biggest strengths, right? And I think a lot of people, they avoid the struggle.
Yeah.
They avoid, maybe not hard work. There is always hard work, but like they fear that struggle or fear of looking a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Therefore, they never really get to that point where, whatever that point is.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I'm glad I did that, man. Fuck.
No, you have to, man. Like, you have to put yourself out there, especially if. Do you know what's so interesting, right? Any like I say this to people all the time. Whatever industry you're in now, you're in the business of media.
Any business
you're in the business of media as well now. And people are always like, no, but I don't want it to be like that. And it's just like, there's a beauty and a curse to it both, right? Because it's like, at some point in your life, you didn't need to do that, right? Like, there's, if we take it back to comedy, for example, like people like Kevin Bridges and Michael McIntyre and those guys, TV helped them a lot, kind of thing, right? Like, where it's like, you had Michael McIntyre's Comedy Roadshow, Live at the Apollo, whatever. When people went on those shows, it blew them up. They were able to sell out a tour, like, instantly. Whereas, nowadays, TV sort of doesn't have that effect on you, right? But the brilliant thing is, now you can be in control of your own narrative online and whatever. But then people are like, oh, but how do I get out there? And it's like, well,
it's there.
It is there. Like, you just there. I mean, and there is luck involved in it as well, luck and timing and that sort of stuff as well. But the way I see it, the happier you can, the more you can put out there, the happier you can be. Yeah,
100%.
I mean, the more you put out there, the luckier you can be. Sorry, yeah.
I remember days when I'm banging 2-3 videos, 2-3 fucking posts a day, seeing like what's gonna bang, what people think of this and this and that, and then I see people over calculating what they're posting. I'm like, bro, this is never gonna bang. You're thinking about this way too much.
100%.
I feel like when people in general, when they stress about a specific thing, they never end up finding it.
100%. That's been great, ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing after?
Getting some food with you, innit?
Yes, let's get some food. We need to do this more often, bruv.
Man. Holler at me.
This is fun, bruv.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Diren Kartal.
Maybe the next one at my yard, didn't it? Because this is expensive. I'm joking.
In a bit, lads.
Peace and love. Guys, hey, you need to see Kae live.
Big up, bro. Thank you very much.
You need to see Kae live. You can find him on Instagram. I'm going to post it all, tag it everywhere, and make sure you go see him live.
Thank you very much. Yeah, come and see me. Follow me.
All right, peace and love. Thank you. Ciao.